Throughout Fallout, we've seen a few people get neglected shelter a couple of times so far. Vault-Tec have done this more than once, and not just in the Commonwealth. As you can see from the first corpse here, it's happened again. The place responsible for this is the Boston Mayoral Shelter, located in the western portion of the map, near Fort Hagen. So this time, Vault-Tec are not to blame. I know, this has probably come as an enormous and earth-shattering shock to you, but 'tis true. Inside this control room, to the right of the bunker, we can find some of the engineers and guards who worked here at this bunker. They all seem to have died in the middle of their work, though the shop in the corner looks like they were trying to hide from someone or something, as we'll soon see. The controls to presumably open the door in the bunker are located on the terminal. This digger was used to pull the door straight off its hinges. Cables were attached to either end of it, but the person driving it, like the people in the control room, seemed to have died while doing so, as did two people located just outside of the door. There is a chance that these three people were killed by the soldiers that worked here, although I think these soldiers were overpowered by the, now dead, people in front of the elevator door, and as we'll see, the others inside. Now it's also possible that they were locked out by the people in the control room, and then the bombs dropped, killing everyone before they could reach the safety inside. Now let's take a wee gander inside. So this shelter was, as you can clearly see, quite well stocked. Perhaps even enough so that it could have supported all the people that we will find. However, it's also clear from all the dead guards, plus the forced open door outside, that a large group of people tried to get in, although it looks like the guards made them pay for every single inch. Except this guard to the right, it looks like he tried to hide in a corner and turn himself invisible using a stealth boy. There's a chance that his location was given away by the lantern right in front of his body. As we go deeper, the slope leading to the entrance of the main facility only goes to show how deep underground this bunker went, and to what scale it was built to. Also, the reason for all the Institute weaponry is that, after you get deep enough inside, they will begin teleporting in. They are assholes like that. We also begin to see more soldiers and dead civilians, who at this point can be assumed to be part of the mob that we've been talking about. The door lying behind one of them seems to be the door that was originally located by the soldier behind us. It seems that they either battered it down with great force, or they destroyed it with an explosive. How these members of the mob died is unknown. Soldiers from deeper inside could have done it, but more likely than not it was the turret that was located here, just on the roof. And it only managed to kill these people, while the rest of the mob managed to get to the elevator, and from there, deeper into the facility. I think the repositioned bookcase near the turret may have been used by the mob in order to provide cover for them to avoid its fire. We can find more supplies down here, which once again suggests there was enough to support a large population for many years. A tunnel can be accessed off to the right, however, oddly enough, there's a makeshift battery here. Right now, we don't know why it would be here, but we'll look at both that and the tunnel in more detail later. This corridor leads to an area where the soldiers must have kept some of their supplies, and once again another turret was present here. Although this time there's no bodies, and I cannot figure out how the mob would have managed to get around the turret's fire. They wrecked a place over here and someone stole a fire extinguisher and replaced it with a bottle of whiskey. That tells us that at least one of the mob was drinking at the time of this attack. Just a little further on we come to a kitchen and the dining area. It's here that we get a good reference to how small the population of this bunker must have been. It's tiny. No more than 5 to 10 people could have comfortably fit inside of here. Yet the amount of supplies clearly points to the capability of supporting a lot more people for a very long period of time. So if the mob knew this, whether it was before the bombs dropped or immediately after, I can sort of see where they're coming from in trying to raid the place and take control. Through the door inside the room with the freezer, we come to yet more shelves upon shelves of supplies, and another corpse. Now, since I can't see any other way they could have died, the mob probably got to them. On them, however, will be a key. This key will allow us to open a certain safe, that we will soon come to, and we get this information from a certain holotape. Going back to the kitchen, it leads on to a leisure area that has, like the rest of the place, been turned over by the mob. It also backs up the theory of this bunker being built to house less than a dozen people. At the end of it, we find more doors ripped off their hinges, and a staircase that leads to the living quarters of this bunker's brief residents, finally telling us how many lived here, and who they were. The small number of toilets and showers again point to only a few people, and the number may be closer to 5 instead of 10. I say this because we have to take into account the guards that were present here, who, as we will see, did live here, but that the luxurious facilities would have only been created with the owner in mind. The owner, who we will now look at in this bathroom, the key for which is in West Everett Estates, though I will discuss why it's there at the end. So here's a skeleton, in a bathtub, with a radio, and many beers lying both around and inside it. Yeah, this was definitely suicide. It's clear that they got drunk and filled up the bathtub, then they used the radio to electrocute themselves. But who they were and why they did this? Well, that is revealed to us through a holotape we find here, and it is entitled Boston Shelter, The Mayor's Goodbye.
Hi, sweetheart. I'm sorry it had to end this way. I tried to build a place where our children could live comfortably. You know, I'm a family man, and know our children come first. I'd do anything for them, even at the expense of taxpayers' money. The mob has broken through, and it's only a matter of time before they reach the lower level. As a last resort to protect our family, I give you, well, I give you myself. Take my body to the people. Tell them I died a coward. Maybe they will leave you in peace. I left the key to the safe with one of the attendants. I forget his name. Anyway, goodbye, my darling. I love you and the children so much.
So this was the shelter of the mayor, his wife, and his as of yet unspecified number of children. The shelter was built using taxpayer money, and clearly people didn't take too kindly to that, hence the mob. And as we discussed, they broke through. He killed himself so the mob would be appeased. Now, this seems like an idiotic idea. The mob wanted safety, and several had already been killed by either the guards or turrets, and they had already killed in turn. So they were desperate. The idea that his death would appease them is an idiotic one. Though then again, he does seem to have been very drunk when he actually went through with it. Yeah, this guy was an idiot. Their room tells us more about their family, as it contains an overturned crib, meaning they had a very young child with them, which, given the mob's assumed intentions, makes the many possible outcomes of this confrontation, well, it makes them more dark. The safe in here can be opened using the key found in the corpse we discussed earlier. Going left at the staircase will bring you to the bedroom of the mayor's other children, which, based on the beds, seem to number roughly about 3. So he built this entire bunker and used all the taxpayers' money to shelter him, his wife, and 4 kids. Oh, and some guards. That means after he killed himself, he left his wife and 4 children to fend for themselves. What an arsehole. Next door to this room is the guards' room, and there seems to have been at least 4 of them present in the base, though this does not match up with the number of skeletons we've found so far, meaning that many of them were only there to drive out the mob, and may not have been expected to stay. We can find another one of the guards dead here, and they left a holotape, entitled Boston Shelter, Guard Update.
Found the mayor in the tub last night. Locked the door before the missus found him. Didn't want her to see him like that. I told her he'll be back soon and not to worry. In the meantime, I told her to take the children down to the utility room in the gym and wait for the all clear. Situation's getting out of control and we're outnumbered. It's only a matter of time before this place falls into chaos.
So the wife never found out her husband was dead, meaning his suicide really wasn't vain. The guard was not at fault though. They probably didn't listen to the tape and they had their hands full, what with the murderous mob and all. They told the wife to head downstairs with the kids, but they feel the shelter will soon fall into chaos. Based on their corpse and how they're sprawled against the wall, it's clear the mob got to them, and possibly only minutes after this tape was made, since they don't seem to have left the room. All that's left now is to head downstairs and get the wife's portion of the story. So at the bottom of the stairs, behind an overturned cart, is a teddy in a wheelchair with a rattle posing for a picture. Yup, just gonna let that sink in a bit. Okay, it's creepy on many levels, but here are a few that jump out to me. Where did they get a small wheelchair and who posed it? The last people in here were the mob, and when did they have time to pull off something like this? Even if they did take over the shelter, it doesn't look very lived in at all, suggesting something happened to the mob after that. The recreational area / gym has everything you would expect. It has lockers for clothes to be stored, and even some baseball uniforms. There is a Nuka-Cola machine if anyone gets thirsty. The area itself is the size of a basketball court, and frankly it's ridiculous. Beds are vital. A kitchen? Okay. TV is pushing it. This is ridiculous. I understand wanting to keep your kids happy, but there are definitely other ways to go about it than a full fucking sports area. Several limbs can be found here and there, but who they belong to is something we'll get to in a minute. The area does, however, seem to be in favour of the mayor's love for his kids, as even as the world fell down around them, he still wanted them to be happy, to have fun. A shattered wall is found at the back of the gym, and inside is a sloping passageway dotted with many corpses. These are not from the shelter dwellers, except maybe the guard at the back with the mini nuke. A deathclaw is found here and seems to have made its way inside via the hole in the roof. So the rest of the skeletons are the remains of its prey, as it would not have been here at the time of the mob. Now I think the soldier with the mini nuke was. That opens up several options. Either this hole, both in the roof and wall, was opened up after the bombs dropped, and the soldier fled in here, dying shortly after, either by the mob or radiation. The second option is the mob noticed this hole in the surface, came down, and then blew a hole in the gym wall. The soldier went to stop them, and died. This hole allowed them access to the shelter, and the mayor's family, which we will look at now. The utility room next to the hole contains a fusion core, and a mini nuke, and the remains of the mayor's wife. Sprawled in the corner she most likely hid in. Her holotape is found here, entitled Boston Shelter. Where are you?
Where are you, honey? I've been told to take the children to a safe place near the gym. Are you okay? The children are scared. This whole situation is my fault. I convinced you we needed all of this stuff if the worst ever happened. Now look at what's happening. All my fault. When you come back... Oh, hold on. Looks like the little one's hungry. It's okay, baby. Don't cry. It's okay. Mommy's here. Listen, when you come back, let's get out of here. Let them have this place. We don't need it. Love you, honey. See you soon.
Well, shit. Okay, so the wife persuaded him to build this place and fill it with so much crap they didn't need. She hid down here and she had at least her baby daughter with her, though she does mention the other children, so they must have been around here somewhere. She wants to leave and let the mob have the place. And that's it. We don't know what happens to her or the children after that. I couldn't find any child-sized corpses. And for that, I am thankful. The last thing that I want to talk about is this weird pipe. I'm not sure what use it has. Besides maybe being a shit escape tunnel, I mean, it doesn't even lead outside. It's opened by this button, and is a great way to hide from the deathclaw. It's too fat to get inside. It's also where the first synth showed up for me, and nearly made me quite violently void my bowels. A pair of corpses can be found here, seemingly dying together, and a bastard monkey can be found just beyond them. I don't think the corpses are the children's corpses, there's not enough of them, and they're too large. They could possibly be some of the mob who failed to survive here, which may explain the makeshift battery found so close to this pipe. Some cans of food can be found further inside the pipe, so they may have taken shelter in here for an unknown reason, and then died sometime after, in each other's arms. So that is the Boston Mayoral Shelter. At the behest of his wife, the mayor used tax money to create a bunker for them, and got either soldiers or guards to protect them. The mob incident could have taken place either before the bombs dropped or after, depending on how you look at things. They used a digger to take the door off its hinges, and then they stormed the fuck out of the place. Though several died outside, either due to the guards or bombs. Though it is interesting to point out that none of the guards seem to have had guns, so how did they kill them? Especially the large amount near the elevator. So the mob slowly pushed deeper inside, some perishing to the turrets, others possibly to the guards. The mayor then had the idea of killing himself, so the mob would leave his family alone. He got drunk, got in the bath, and then electrocuted himself. A key for the bathroom he was in can be found inside a drawer in West Everett Estates. The room the drawer was in had a crib, so this could have been the home of the mayor and his family before they came to this shelter. A guard discovered his body, but didn't tell his wife, so his last wish was not fulfilled, even though it was kind of stupid. The wife went downstairs with the children to the utility room. and the guard died after making his tape. A hole in the wall of the gym opens into a cave with a deathclaw, one of the guards, and a hole in the roof. As we discussed, the holes could have been either the result of the bombs or the mob, but either way, a deathclaw took up residence there, and acts like an arsehole. The wife hid with the 4 children, recorded the tape, and was most likely murdered. The fate of the children, however, is left to speculation. Maybe the mob let them be, perhaps they took them in, perhaps they killed them. We may never know. What we also do not know is what happened to the mob. At least 2 of them died in the pipe, and there shouldn't have been a reason for that. Perhaps infighting after they got the shelter under their control. It may have also been because of radiation. The pipe is badly damaged in parts, and if we say the hole was created by the bombs, then the whole bunker may have been flooded with radiation shortly after they captured it, killing any left alive. What we do know for sure, however, is that of the people we've confirmed dead, they all died because of their desperation and their willingness to exploit others to survive. A not-so-secret shelter, greedy parents, and a vicious mob. I hope you liked this look at all of it. If you did like it, give the video a like, and if you want regular updates, subscribe. Any suggestions for lower or future videos should be left in the comments below. Better yet, go onto my subreddit so we can discuss them in more detail. It's linked in the description. If you wish to, you can support me on Patreon, which is also linked in the description. Go have a gander at the rewards. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook to get regular updates, or have a wee chat. Any business you wish to discuss with me, email me at thenthapple.business@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. And until then, goodbye.